Hello everyone, welcome to today's class, and today is Suriname's reputation. Let's move on to language focus. 일본. And it's partly based on things that really happened back in the late 1990s and early 2000s. Okay, very simple today. Back in is what we're going to be focusing on. So use back in with a time period to refer to a time that is in the relatively distant past. So let me explain. 설명해 드릴게요. Back in the let's say 80s equals what? 80년대. So very often the way we use it is back in plus the time, the year, or the 시대, or plus usually we add an S at the end, so you can change it to almost any time of the year. Back in the 70s, or back in the early 2000s. Usually we use this for times quite a long time ago. It would be very 좀 어색할 것 같아요 if you did this like back in the 2020s. 2020 2년 전이니까 이런 뭐 표현 좀 어색해요. So usually a long time ago. We also say, like, it's not just time, like, back in the day. Simply, 옛날에. Well, let's say 진짜 옛날에, a long time ago. Alright. Back in my high school days, which was a long time ago, I didn't really worry about my future. 난 고등학교 다녔을 때 나는 미래에 대해 별로 걱정하지 않았어요. Which is true. So this is why I worry about my future now. So back in my school days. So we can use it in this formula. Back in the year. Or, back in, one's period of time. Back in my primary school days, back in my teens, back in my university days. 나이 많은 사람들은 이렇게 얘기할 수 있어요. Back in my day. Okay. 진짜 옛날에요. Okay. Not many people used mobile phones back in the 80s. So 80년대에는 휴대폰을 사용하는 사람이 많지 않았다. I think. I was born in the 80s. So this one is really useful when we're talking about a long time ago. Let's look at Ibon. It's fascinating. It's a fascinating place. It should be, maybe it's a fascinating place. But there's no denying that the nation has had some issues related to drug trade. Now we're going to look at, there's no denying that. So use there's no denying that to acknowledge that something is certainly true. All right. So there's no denying that something is certainly true. So what does the word deny in Korean? 부인하다. All right. So the way you would explain it, maybe 부인 부인할 수 없다. 부인하지 않다. 이렇게 써요. So, money isn't everything, but there's no denying that life is easier if you have a certain amount. So, 돈이 전부는 아니지만 어느 정도 돈이 있으면 생활이 더 편한다는 것을 부인할 수 없다. Okay, so money isn't everything. 돈이 전부는 아니지만 돈이 있다면, of course, life is a little easier. But it's not everything to some people. Or, there's no denying that having kids is a lot of work, but most parents say they don't regret it. So, 아이를 갖는 것이 많은 일이라는 것은 부인할 수 없지만 대부분의 부모들은 후회하지 않는다고 말한다. Of course, raising kids is very difficult. 아이를 키우기 힘들어요. 근데 it's still a very great experience for some people. So there's no denying. So now let's move on to the language focus quiz. 1번. Back in my elementary school days, like I mentioned before, so we're talking back in the 80s, 80년대. Back in my high school days, 저 고등학교 다녔을 때, we had no mobile phones. So, 초등학교 다녔을 때는 휴대전화가 없었어요. I didn't. 2번. Back in 2012, so 2012년대, we thought the world was going to end. Maybe. 2012년대 우리는 세계 끝날 것이라고 생각했습니다. There's a famous movie called 2012 and it's a apocalypse movie. So, back. Okay, 3번. There's no denying that it would be nice if, I don't know, simple. I won the lotto. So, 내가 로또에 당첨되면 좋을 거란 건 부정할 수 없어요. There's no denying. 4번. There's no denying that was a mistake. Arguing. There's no denying that arguing was a mistake. 말다툼이 실수였다는 것을 부인할 수 없다. It was not a good idea to have an argument. Alright, so now let's move on to our further discussion. 1번. Do you think the accusations that authorities in Suriname have been interested in profiting from the drug trade are true? Why or why not? 서리남 당국이 만약 거래로 이익을 얻는 데 관심이 있었다는 비난이 사실이라고 생각합니까? It's not uncommon for this situation to happen. There are some countries that profit off drug trade, but wherever there is money to be made, I know that governments aren't too far away from trying to profit off it, of a company or something that makes big money. So I wouldn't be surprised if this was a true accusation, but you never know. 2번. If somebody made a violent crime drama about Korean gangsters and gave it the title Korea, how do you think Koreans would react? 만약에 누군가가 한국 폭력배들에 대한 폭력 범죄 드라마를 만들고 그것에 한국이라는 제목을 붙인다면 한국인들이 어떻게 반응할 것이라고 생각하는가? They make Korean gangster films in Korea about Koreans and gangsters. But I think Korea would be pretty upset as well. I don't think anyone likes other countries talking about their own country in a negative way. Korea are very sensitive people, they're very patriotic people as well. And I think Koreans would probably react pretty poorly, pretty badly. But maybe we'll see it one day. Because we know that Korea has become bigger and bigger in the film industry. And who knows? We might have other countries making contents about Korea. Anyway, that wraps it up for today's lesson. And we'll see you on the next lesson.
Undercover.
Undercover.
Ethnic.
Ethnic.
Corridor.
Corridor.
Head for.
Head for.
Sparse.
Sparse.
Narco-state.
Narco-state.